Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We're so happy you're joining us today. We have a really fun show planned for you, so let's get started. We're recording this episode on Sunday, April 7th, 2019. I'm Michelle, and I'm here with my gorgeous, smart, amazing husband, Tom.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
And as you can see, I'm kidnapping the show today. It's kind of like when Iago took over the Tiki Room. This podcast is under new management.
Oh, boy. We're in trouble. You know how that went with the Tiki Room.
Right, exactly. So, learning from that mistake, I think I'm going to turn the reins over to my captain, and you have control.
Thank you, sweetheart. Good job. Good job leading us off. Excellent job. Michelle always does wonderfully, even when she's taking the reins out of my hands at the beginning of the show. Very, very fine job. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome again to the Hyperion Adventures podcast. So glad to have you with us. You found us today. In the future, you can find us on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. And the best way to get us is to subscribe to us on those sites.
Yes. Then you have nothing to worry about. It comes right to you. And we love our subscribers. Mm-hmm. That group is growing, and it really touches us that so many of you are out there listening, subscribing, and we appreciate it.
It's been a fun, exciting week for us. I'll get to that in just a moment. We also love hearing from all of you out there. If you have the chance, a review on one of those sites or a rating would be wonderful. It helps other people find this podcast, know that this is a decent show, and it also helps us improve our performance. You can contact us as well on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook and Instagram at Hyperion Adventures Podcast, and you can always email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Right, and we are really thrilled with the banter that goes on throughout the week as we, go in between our episodes. And for those of you who have given us feedback, thank you. We really appreciate it. You've really provided us a lot of encouragement, and that is awesome.
Yes, we have a fun time out there on social media, especially on Twitter. There's a lot of great other podcasts, a lot of great other bloggers, and of course, you that come along and just help us out, and we just have a wonderful time. This last week was really special for us because this last week, the last episode, our 5 favorite Disney songs that made us cry, was our second most downloaded episode within 1 week. But I throw out the one that had the K-pop band, where we suddenly got a surge of K-pop NCT 127 fans that just kind of downloaded us. This was really our 1 week top downloaded episode, and I really appreciate all of you who listened to our show and downloaded it, and we're glad that you loved that show.
Right. We weren't really 100% sure on the topic, how it would be received, but as Tom mentioned, a lot of you did download it, and a lot of wonderful feedback throughout the week and Twitter. So thank you, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you very much. It was really wonderful and really surprising to see the outpouring of affection for that episode. We really, really appreciate it. We also ran a poll this week on Twitter using that when we referenced ourselves and our listeners. There was 3 songs that came out with the most votes throughout that. And so we put them out there as a poll to finally decide which one was the number 1 song. And those 3 songs were Remember Me, Feed the Birds, and When She Loved Me. So I put that out there as a Twitter poll just to finally decide which was the Disney song that made us cry that was the best. And it was overwhelmingly easy. Remember Me won far and away. When She Loved Me came in second a little ways back, and Feed the Birds was kind of close to them, but really it was Remember Me all the way. So Remember Me is the song.
Yes.
Probably outside of Baby Mine, of course, which we eliminated from that poll. That would really affected people the most. So very interesting.
Right. And great song, too. And I don't think we could argue with that, because I think that song definitely, hit us as well.
And it was number 1 on your list and number 2 on mine. So it makes total sense. So enough about last week. Let's get to this week. We have a ton of stuff for you today, including our spoiler-free review of Shazam. I know it's not Disney, but, it's kind of a film that I thought many of you might want to go see, so we are going to review that for you, spoiler-free. There's some villain fun coming to the Walt Disney World Resort this summer, and Marvel hits a couple of big milestones this week. But let's get to our main topic of the week, and this one's going to be a fun one. We are going to be talking Disneyland for the Walt Disney World fan.
All who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. Thank you.
And of course, it has become a source of joy and inspiration for the entire world. I think you would agree, Michelle.
Absolutely. It's the happiest place on earth.
No question about that. So this is why we decided to do this, because, I came from the West Coast, so I grew up going to Disneyland. So I understand Disneyland. It's kind of what I know. But Michelle grew up on the East Coast, and so she had a little bit different impression on it, didn't she, Michelle?
Right. My first time was pretty disappointing. And sadly, it could have been prevented. It was just that my expectations of what the park had and looked like were not properly set. And we actually have some really dear friends that are Walt Disney World loving people, and they're making their first trip out this year to Disneyland. And so we thought this might be a helpful topic for them as well as others who are making their first time visit to Disneyland.
Yeah, because it really can be. If you're used to Walt Disney World and never been to Disneyland, it can be a real culture shock to you. And if you're not prepared for it, if you don't know what to expect, if you don't know how to go about it, it may be disappointing to you. You spend a lot of money, you go out there, you're all excited about it, and it may be a little bit of a disappointment because it just is a different world.
Right. There are differences. There are some really wonderful differences as a part of it. But if your expectation is like comparing apples to apples, there are some differences that if you're planned for it, you can actually look to appreciate it.
Right. So let's get to it. We're going to start with just getting to Disneyland. Let's say if you're flying in, however you're traveling into Disneyland, we're going to tell you how to get there first before we actually start talking about the parks themselves. So interesting thing, I'm going to talk about this mostly right here because I know the area fairly well, having grown up in Southern California for most of my life. There are actually, if you're flying in, a lot of different airports you can fly into. LAX, of course, is the biggest, and it's going to have the most available flights from around the country into. The closest to Disneyland itself is Orange County Airport, which is John Wayne Airport. There's also Long Beach Airport, Burbank Airport, Ontario you can go into, and where we are closest to, which is San Diego. You can fly into any of these airports, and you're within at least just a couple hours of Disneyland. So let's talk about if you go into there. I'm going to start with if you fly into the most common ways you would fly in would be to LAX or to John Wayne, which is Orange County Airport.
Right.
LAX is a bit farther away. It's, I want to say it's like 36 miles away, but it seems like it's 106 miles away because of LA traffic. So just be prepared for that. There's a couple ways you can do this. There's the Disneyland Resort Express. Now, it's not like the Magical Express that you know very well from Walt Disney World. You actually have to pay for this. It doesn't come with a resort stay. It's not free. You actually have to pay for this, but you don't need to make a reservation ahead of time if this is how you want to get there. You can go there at LAX. From LAX, it's $30 one way, $48 round trip per person for anyone over the age of 11. For children 3 to 11, it's $9 and $14 one way and round trip. So it's not a horrible way to go. It's actually not a bad thing. If you want to go from John Wayne, it's $20 one way, $35 round trip. And like I said, you don't need reservations. You just need to find it, show up at the desk and say, this is what I want to do. And they'll put you in the right direction when you go and you're on your way. Another way you might look about getting there is by a rental car. Depending on, in Southern California, there's actually a lot of things to do. Yes, you want to go see Disneyland, but if you want to go explore Hollywood or some of the other theme parks that are around town or whatever you want to look at, there are other ways to do that as well. You can get a rental car. Now, the one thing you want to take into account is wherever you're staying at the Disneyland Resort, because there are parking fees for many, including the Disneyland Resort hotels. There are parking fees. There are a few that have free parking, though. We know one that we go to that has free parking. So keep an eye on that and look into that as a part of your monetary of your budget going into this. They also have plenty of shuttles that go there. Prices vary. Shop around for the best deal. There's also coupons you can find. If you search for when you're looking to buy this thing, if you happen to search for going from the airport to a Disneyland nearby hotel, as opposed to Disneyland front gate, sometimes that is less expensive. So you might want to check that out when you go out there. You can also Uber or Lyft. It can be a little expensive from LAX. Usually it's not horrible. It's for UberX, it's usually around $37 to $49, which isn't bad depending on your family and the size and what you have. But if you get there at the wrong time, at peak time, I saw prices go from $77 to $102. Wow. So it's a little more expensive if you come at the wrong time. Lyft is usually a little bit less expensive than that. From John Wayne Airport, the average is $22 to $29 for UberX. So not bad. And I actually recommend that because John Wayne is not that far away. You're actually relatively close. Right. You can also hire a limo. You can also shop around for that or a town car. Those are possibilities. You want to go more in style. Would not suggest a taxi from LAX because they say that those are probably about $88 one way, and that's if you're lucky and the traffic is really, really nice. It can go way up from there, and you have no way of knowing what that price is going to end up being. Right. Not as bad an option from John Wayne because, again, it's a smaller trip, and you can get there much quicker. If you're flying into San Diego, here's an interesting way you can get there if you want to. Yes, you can rent a car. There's shuttles, whatever. Those can get kind of expensive because San Diego is a little ways away. But you can easily take the Amtrak, take the Pacific Surfliner from down at San Diego. All you have to do is go from the airport. It's a quick rideshare, Lyft or Uber, to the Santa Fe Depot. And then it's just the Pacific Surfliner straight in Anaheim. They have a public transit from there, or you can also do another Lyft or Uber. And it's another 5-minute trip from there. It's really, really easy to do, and I highly recommend it if you don't want to get a car and if you want to fly into San Diego, maybe if you want to see some of San Diego before you get up there, or on your way back if you want to see some San Diego on your way out of there. Highly recommend it. They also have the coaster and the Metrolink, which you can use as well. Yes,
right.
Michelle.
Going on the train is a lot of fun. Trains are fun anyways, but this is a pretty scenic route because you're going pretty close to the ocean a lot of the way. And so it gives you some wonderful views. You can just sit back, relax. You have Wi-Fi there. You have plug-ins at every seat if you need to charge your phone or computer or anything like that. So we actually love the train.
Yeah, we don't do it. We don't do it often enough because of the times we're going, and But if you don't care about like scheduling the time on the train or whatever, it's really enjoyable. They have a drink and food car, so you can pick up a snack, you can pick up a glass of wine or whatever to drink. You can get the stuff for the kids to eat. It's really a good time, and highly recommend that if you're happening to go from San Diego. There's also some places from LA that you can get there too if you happen to be flying into, I think, Burbank. You can get there through there, but you know it mostly for San Diego. Now, as far as choosing a hotel, you have to think about Disneyland completely different than Walt Disney World because of the fact that the Walt Disney World Resort, as Michelle likes to say, you're kind of in that bubble of, the Walt Disney World bubble, which is a happy bubble. It's really fun. It's a really good bubble to be in. Disneyland, you're really right in the middle of Anaheim, and there really is. It's very much city. It is a city. There isn't that separation from the rest of the world like you get at the Walt Disney World Resort. So know that going in. So, of course, there's only 3 Disneyland Resort hotels to choose from. That's the Grand Californian, which is the nicest, the Disneyland Hotel, which is the classic one, and the Paradise Pier Hotel, which is a little bit less expensive. They all are very expensive, though, but you do get some perks with them. We'll talk about that in a little bit. However, there are some nice hotels, motels around the area, but you have to pay attention when you're shopping for them. You need to look at them, check out reviews because they vary wildly.
Exactly.
If you go, best thing you can do is definitely go for a Disney Good Neighbor hotel because that at least Disneyland has kind of verified with them that they're a decent place. They're relatively clean. They will act well. And you can even buy tickets there at many of those hotels. So check that out, but definitely check into reviews of all these hotels because they vary by a large amount. And also check into like if it costs, if you're driving there, if there's a charge to park there, if the breakfast is included, all sorts of stuff like that are important when you're choosing a hotel nearby. But there are a lot to choose from. So that's a benefit. So,
Right.
So that's the look at how to get there and where to stay. But we need to move on to more from Michelle about Disneyland.
Right. Great summary, honey. And, I think the main takeaway from that is just knowing the expectations are different than when you're traveling into Orlando and getting to the parks there and the types of hotels that are available. So some of the other differences have to do with things that you would consider in preparation. One of them is dining reservations. Disneyland dining reservations is 60 days in advance. I know at Disney World it's much longer, but keep that in mind that for Disneyland reservations, it's only 60 days. So it's really critical then when you want to, for some of the specialty types of reservations, you want to be on it the 60 days in advance. Fast passes are not advanced like they are with Walt Disney World. And Tom's going to go through more details about fast passes, but that's something you don't have to prepare for in advance of your trip. The other thing to consider for your trip, though, is park hopping. Park hopping at Disneyland Resort between Disneyland Park and California Adventure Park is super easy.
It's almost literally a hop.
It is. That's right. I mean, you can definitely go in between from one park to another multiple times throughout the day because they're very, very close. You're only going through security once. That's the only time you're in a bubble. Right. You're going through security once, so that makes it also easy to go back and forth. Or if you're going to downtown Disney and coming back to the parks, it's all within the same security bubble. And so if you want to consider park hopping, that's something that you definitely might see an advantage of having the increased fee for a park hopper pass, especially if you're going only for one day. You might as well do that.
If you're only going for 1 day park hop, for sure. Right. If you're going a couple days, you can save a little money by doing the 1 day, one park ticket. But it is so easy to get across to the parks that I really recommend the park hopper. But if it's 1 day, forget it. Do the park hopper for sure. There's no question about that to me. Research when you're going into the parks, kind of know what the difference is. Disneyland Park is not Magic Kingdom. It's similar, but it's not Magic Kingdom. So don't expect Magic Kingdom when you come to Disneyland Park. There'll be a lot of similarities to it, but it's not the same. Scale for both these parks, this whole area, as we talked about, this small bubble and how easy it is to park hop, it's very small. It's very compact. They packed a lot into a small space there. So going to get to know that and kind of know where things are because there's only 2 parks and because of the fact that it is such a compact space that some of the attractions from Walt Disney World Resort they're spread out between the 4 parks are within 2 parks. So Star Tours, for example, is in Tomorrowland in Disneyland Park. So know that going in. Just kind of get the lay of the land before you go in. As far as expectations when you have arrived, know the transportation and parking. You do pay to park at Disneyland if you're coming from farther away or if you are trying to drive from your resort hotel. So keep that in mind. From many of the Disneyland Resort hotels, actually from all of them, you can walk. You won't need anything else. You park there, you get a ride in there, whatever it is, and you will walk to the different parks, which are really easy to get to downtown Disney. It's very simple. If you go to the Grand Californian, they actually have their own entrance into Disney California Adventure Park. It's their own entrance that only people that are at that resort can go and use. So it's very simple to get in and out of Disney California Adventure Park. One great thing about if you're staying at the Disneyland Resort hotels is the magic hour. And if you know the Walt Disney World Resort, you know the magic hours there. The magic hours there, whenever they're at each park, are the magic hours for all the resorts in the Walt Disney World. So everybody suddenly starts going to that spot. So yes, maybe it's a little bit lighter than what it would be on a normal day, but it's not really that great a bonus to you. However, at the Disneyland Disneyland Resort, wherever those magic hours are in the morning, it's usually an hour before opening in the morning, because there's only 3 resort hotels that the patrons are coming from, and it's early, so many people won't even get there right at the beginning. They also have some special tickets where you can get into that extra hour. But it's really gold because there's hardly anybody in there. You can zip on and off attractions. You can start, as soon as you scan your ticket, you start making fast passes throughout the day, so you can have those in ready to go as well. It's brilliant. It really, really helps you out so much. Take advantage of that if you're staying at a Disneyland Resort hotel. What's next, Michelle?
Well, the next part is actually getting through the gates. So one thing that we know what the lines are like going through security and going through, the turnstiles or the gates. At Disneyland, if you've been to Disney World, just remember you do need to be a little patient because it is a slower process. They don't use magic bands. They are based on pictures, not on fingerprints. So that means they scan cards or paper passes. And if it's the first time you're using a pass, they need to stop and take your photo. Mm-hmm. So like you could be behind several families of 4, 5, whatever, and everybody has to get a photo taken. And not that it takes a ton of time, but again, getting your mind wrapped around what to expect can help alleviate that disappointment. So go in there knowing that the lines are going to take maybe a little longer than what you're used to. They're not as efficient as the turnstiles at Walt Disney World, but they aren't that bad, So they also don't have an annual pass holder line.
Because if they did, it would be everybody. Because almost everybody, that's the difference between Walt Disney World and Disneyland, is almost everybody has an annual pass to Disneyland. So they'd almost be better having a single day ticket line.
Yes.
That way you breeze through if you have a single day ticket.
Good point. Another thing to mentally prepare for is when you walk in and you're looking down Main Street at the castle. Okay, it's not Cinderella Castle.
It's Sleeping Beauty Castle.
It's Sleeping Beauty Castle, and it is really pretty. It's quaint, and just remember, you're not looking for grandeur. You're looking at history. This has been there for so long. It started it all.
Years,
That's right. It started it all. Again, it's a really cute, quaint castle. Right now, it's going through renovation, and so it'll be primed pretty soon.
Pretty soon.
Yeah,
they're going to have it ready here within a month or so. They want it ready for when Star Wars Galaxies. That opens, actually.
So when you go in appreciating those facts about it and realize, yes, it's not large and grandiose as the Cinderella Castle, but it is really historic and quaint.
Yeah, very much so.
The other interesting thing, and I wasn't really sure where to bring this fact up, but just again, in terms of expectations, is weather has a real impact on fireworks at Disneyland. As Tom mentioned, you're in Anaheim. And if you've heard news, here in Southern California, we get plagued by wildfires. And so they really have to be very careful when it comes to high winds in our drier seasons, not to be having fireworks go off that could start major fires in the area. So, it's something to keep in mind that a fireworks show could be canceled.
Yeah, it does happen occasionally. As a matter of fact, their new show that they've got on right now, it doesn't even include fireworks during the middle of the week. They just do it on the weekends just to kind of curb that a little bit. So there's not so much disappointment, and still a fun show.
It is a fun show. We love dancing to that one. So why don't you tell us about Fast Passes, honey?
Fast Passes at Disneyland are a completely different animal again from Walt Disney World Resort. Of course, at the Disneyland Resort, at the Walt Disney World Resort, you're making your fast passes either 60 or 30 days out, and you can every single attraction at the Walt Disney World Resort has a fast pass. Mm-hmm. You can get one for anything, whether it has a big line regularly or not. You can do that. Disneyland, however, is different. There's only fast passes for some of the bigger attractions out there. There are several actually that are really popular, like Peter Pan's flight.
Right.
That actually does not have a fast pass. So if you want to go on that, you're either rope dropping it or waiting for a long time for that attraction. So just be prepared for that going in. You can just go in. You don't have to. It doesn't cost anything to get fast passes when you go in. You go in and you go to a kiosk and you'll scan your pass, your ticket, whatever you might have, and they'll give you a time. Whatever time is the next one currently available. That will be your time to come back onto that attraction. Have an hour just like you would have at the Walt Disney World Resort. So you can do that. It's no extra charge. However, I would recommend this if you're coming from out of town and you really want to go attraction heavy. They have Max Pass, which is available right on your mobile device, right on your phone. It's right on the Disneyland app. It's really easy. It costs $15 per day per guest that's using it. So just know that going in, that if you have a family of 4, that is going to be $60 added on for that day.
Right.
So be prepared for that. But it is really handy if you want to get into these attractions. Now, the one thing is I will tell you about that is you don't need to necessarily purchase it before you get there. For one thing, just because you have Max Pass doesn't mean you can use it until you actually scan your ticket into one of the parks. You need to scan your ticket. Once you do that, then Max Pass will become available for you, and then you can pick fast passes for the attractions you want that have fast passes available. Now, here's another thing I would suggest to you. You don't need to do it every single day. If you're going to be staying for a long period of time, there may be a day that you don't want to go as attraction heavy, or maybe is a little lighter on attendance that day. So maybe the queues aren't so bad. In that case, you don't really need to spend that money. However, one thing that does come with Max Pass is Photo Pass.
Right.
So if you plan on getting pictures taken, I would suggest that at least one of your party buys Max Pass for that day. That way it's only $15 and you can get all the photos from that day right into your app. So just check it out and decide for yourself. The other good thing about Max Pass is once you've done your Fast Pass, you can start making the next one right there when you're in the queue, the small Fast Pass queue or whatever. And of course, that's also if it's a later Fast Pass after an hour and a half, or 2 hours, depending on the attraction passes, you can make another Fast Pass on your app as well. So really easy to work, and I highly suggest it, especially if you're only going to be there for a couple of days and really want to check everything out.
Right, absolutely. And again, we're not trying to make it sound like it's a bad park. It is wonderful. As long as you're prepared and you get ready for it, you are going to have the best time, because it is really, really fabulous. And another way to prepare for that is know what your goal is when you get there. You don't have California Adventure at Walt Disney World, so it's really not totally comparable to anything there. So that you're not going to be dealing with any kind of issues of, gee, that really looks different from the big house.
The big house. The big mouse house.
Right. So, one thing is to mentally prepare. Do you want to do, like Tom said, more attraction heavy? Or do you want to just kind of view history and, some of the just differences about it and seeing how it is, or maybe a little both? So if you only have a short time there, you might want to focus on the different attractions. And you can look them up before you arrive and have a plan, know which ones are Fast Pass and accessible and not. If you're more interested in the story or the history behind the park, we really recommend taking a tour. And the Walk in Walt's Footstep at Disneyland tour is really amazing. They do focus on the history of how it came up, and some of the important aspects of Walt's life and how it is displayed there. But it really is great. It's not super long, so you still have time to do a lot of other things in the park. But that's a way also to get an appreciation of something that you might have thought was going to look exactly like the park in Orlando. So anyways, that would be something that you might want to consider is what is your goal? And then just really enjoy the differences of it. I mean, that's why you're there, right? You want to try something new, but it's still got Disney stuff with it. So, it's still special and it's wonderful. Yeah,
it is. It's a very special place. There's a lot of history there. As we opened up the show, you heard Walt's speech there and that was, it was pride and joy. Just like he did with Snow White, he really went under trying to make this dream happen with Snow White and then with Disneyland. Like they were telling him, you shouldn't do this. What are you doing? This is crazy. You're not going to make any money from this. And obviously we know how that turned out.
Yeah.
And that's why Disneyland is such a special place. And you appreciate that when you're there.
Right. So now, speaking of attractions and the differences, we're not going to go through all of them. That's something that I think you can enjoy when you're trying to prepare for the trip. But there are some highlights that we want to bring up. So good news for those who love the nostalgia of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, because Disneyland still has it.
That's right. It's still wild.
It's still wild. And welcome to the Himalayas.
Well, the Swiss Alps, but okay.
Right. The Matterhorn bobsled. So that's a really cool ride that's only at the Disneyland Resort.
Yeah, and it is Disney's first ever mountain. It's not called Space Mountain or Splash Mountain or Big Thunder Mountain, but it was the first ever mountain built at a Disney park. Really cool place. It's really special. It also had some history involved, and it was the first to use the dual tubular track. It's the first roller coaster to use that, so that's history right there. And it used to be interesting. I mean, I'll just talk to you about a little bit of the history of it as far as they used to have everyday climbers that would climb it like they were actually climbing the Matterhorn in the Swiss Alps. And they'd be up there and you'd like, oh, they're climbing the Matterhorn again. And they would go up there and then they would have, there was a basketball court up there so they could kill time while they were up top of this mountain before they came down and everything.
That's sweet.
So, still exists today. It's probably fallen into disrepair because I don't think anybody's much up there anymore, but really interesting stuff.
Right. And the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea attraction, the track is still there. They've updated the storyline in the display. So it's Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage, which is a really great ride or attraction for the little ones. But one of my favorite things when we're at Disneyland is especially during the holidays. Small World and Haunted Mansion overlays for the holidays are killer great. Mm-hmm. They are amazing and so fun. And I think we really tend to enjoy those even more than when they are during the regular season. But there are a lot of fun, different attractions. And so Disneyland can provide you some new fun experiences that fall within the realm of the Disney company.
Yeah, I think that actually if you're planning a trip out to Disneyland at some point, getting out during the holiday season, getting out down during the Halloween season as well, because not only do they have the overlays for, of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Haunted Mansion Haunted Holiday, which is really cool, but also go to Cars Land, and they just totally deck that out with a lot. It's really interesting. They do it, and they say as if cars decorated for Halloween, and the same thing for Christmas as well. They deck it out, and it's all Halloween decorations made out of car parts and stuff. It's really cool to check out.
Super creative.
And I highly recommend doing that. But I mean, really, Disneyland, you've seen some of the decorations at Walt Disney World, and they're pretty good. The Christmas trees are excellent throughout Walt Disney World. Bang for your buck. Holiday decorations, Disneyland tops it. To me, personally, bang for your buck as far as space and how much decorations per space. There was that episode we had where I counted. Remember, I counted how many jack-o'-lanterns were in the windows just going down Main Street, and I think I had like 105 or something. Exactly. I can't remember what it was, but it was over 100 jack-o'-lanterns just lining the windows on Main Street up above.
Right.
It's crazy. They really go all out. So you should, I would highly recommend those kind of years to come out for Disneyland.
Right. And they have some really great photo apps right on Main Street with all these decorations. And as you mentioned, Cars Land during the holidays, whether like you said, Halloween, Christmas, they are so hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
You go in and you're just like, oh my God, how creative is that? So you got to check it out.
The characters, the Cars characters, Lightning McQueen and Mater, they're decked. They're in costume. It's awesome. I love it so much. It's so good.
It is great. But what are some of the other highlights that, maybe not attractions that people might enjoy at Disneyland?
Well, they have lots of great shows as well. Our favorite show, which we hardly ever miss. It's like we go out of our way to schedule it at some point during the day. If you're at the Disneyland park, go check out Storytelling at the Royal Theater with Mr. Smythe and Mr. Jones. It's like a 20-minute show, but it's the best show you'll ever see. It's hilarious. It recaps some of your favorite movies. Usually they're doing Beauty and the Beast for part of the day and Tangled for part of the day.
Right.
But it's excellent. And you also, if you have fans of the princesses in there, one of the princesses will show up during that. It'll either be Belle or Rapunzel, of course.
Right.
So fans of the princesses get a little up close peek at their favorite princesses, possibly. And it's just great storytelling, improvisation. It's just a wonderful, wonderful show.
Very interactive with the audience. The audience is encouraged to participate as well. You'll start seeing people line up ahead of time, and you'll know what. Let me tell you, it's worth lining up for, because it's great. You want to get a good seat and get in there and really enjoy the storytelling.
Yeah, it's so good. It is really one of our favorite things.
It's hilarious.
We have seen it. We've seen each of these shows numerous times. We know it almost by heart,
right?
But it never stops us from going, because it's great every single time, and we laugh every single time. It's so good.
It is. It's
so good.
Great.
Other shows that they have going on there. Mickey's Magical Map is a really interesting show with, they have a lot of the princesses there, a lot of the classic scenes, and Mickey Mouse, of course, a lot of the characters from many of the Disney movies make an appearance in that. It's a really good show. Frozen live at the Hyperion Theater. Live at the Hyperion Theater is an excellent show. If you haven't been able to go catch Frozen on Broadway, or now it's touring soon, we're actually going to be able to watch it in San Diego here pretty soon.
Hey.
Or on the ships. Is it on the Wonder now? It's on the Wonder.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a truncated version of the show. It is the movie. It is the stage show. It's magical. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. Highly recommend.
Right.
If you're a fan of Frozen, even if you're just okay with Frozen, go check it out. It's really good.
Right, and they often have packages, like meal packages, to go along to get into the more prime seating
nice
areas.
Seating, yeah.
Yes.
So you don't have to wait in line for hours or
Right.
whatever. But also at the Paradise Garden area over at Disney California Adventure Park, there's always a lot of bands playing there. Mariachi Divas are really fantastic whenever they're playing there. But they have lots of different bands that are playing in that area. And there's a lot of times during the year where they're having some sort of festival going on. There's lots of different bands, lots of different shows playing. Just check out your schedule. Lots of good entertainment throughout the parks.
Absolutely. And those shows, really, we can't encourage them enough. Even like you're saying with the bands, just checking them out, because, you can pick up some food and just sit down and enjoy the music and the fun. It's a great atmosphere. Love it.
Really good. Really good. I mean, I've been known to, like, we've gone up, and Michelle's had to go to a meeting up in L.A. Anaheim area, and so I'll pop over to Disneyland while she's at this meeting. I'll just go solo into the Frozen show, just because that's how I roll. And plus, you can get a much better seat and not wait in line when it's just looking for a single seat. So take advantage of that.
Very cool. And they also have something really special that is very historic part of Disneyland, and that's with the Royal Swing Band Ball on Saturdays.
That's right. I forgot about that one. That one's really cool, too. Yeah.
It is. And sometimes unseasonally, they have it Friday evenings, too. They have a swing band come in and an area where people can dance. And it is super popular and so much fun to watch. And let me tell you, those dancers are crazy. It's just people in the audience that can come in. And it's really has almost like a cult following of people. So if you're a good dancer with swing, get in the middle and dance your heart off. Otherwise, just go and watch. And it's just really fun. It kind of grew from the date night. Disneyland.
Disneyland, yeah.
Right. So it's a great tradition that they've kept on, and it's super, super fun.
Yeah, and you still can go dance, too. You don't have to be this expert swing dancer. You can go out there and just dance around the sides a little bit. The experts usually take the center because they need a little more room because they're really good. And then you just kind of be on the side, and you just kind of dance around with your sweetheart, and it's fun.
Right, it is.
It's fun.
And every once in a while, they'll do some lessons off to the side to, let you get a couple, confidence, or not a couple confidence, let you get some confidence in to get a few steps in.
Right. And of course, that's not all the entertainment coming to the Disneyland Resort. Of course, coming up soon. Before you know it, we're counting down the days. I can't believe how close it is. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opens at Disneyland first. Don't you forget it. We're getting it first out here in Southern California.
Exactly.
So exciting.
That is something different to look forward to. At least for a little while, we'll have a difference there as well. So, but that's not all. Let's talk about California Adventure Park.
Ooh, it's gotten so much better recently over the last, 5-10 years. It's gotten so
Right.
much better.
Exactly. It kind of evolved. So how would you describe it now, like the concept behind it?
Well, of course, it was devised originally to be, like you're in Hollywood, you're in California, and the different parts of the area were different parts of basically California. There's a Pacific Wharf area, which is kind of like the San Francisco Wharf area.
Right.
There it was what was at that point Paradise Pier, which was kind of like the classic pier carnival, like the Santa Monica Pier has this great amusement park right on Santa Monica Pier. So it's kind of like that. And there was a Hollywood Land down there and everything. And then there's another area that had a lot to do with sort of the great redwood forests and some of the outdoor Northern California areas. And that's the way it started, but it just never really caught on. So Disney looked at it and said, what can we do to change things, make things different? They started changing some things around. The biggest thing they did was revamp one area of the park into Cars Land.
Yes.
Which is brilliant. It was the first really immersive park that I think Disney ever created, at least in the U.S. It really, like when you're walking down through Radiator Springs, you feel like you're right in the middle of one of the Cars movies.
Exactly.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, we know that over at Disney Hollywood Studios, that Toy Story Land, you feel immersive because of all the toys around, and you feel like you've been shrunken and stuff like that. Let me tell you, this does not compare. Cars Land, you feel like you're on the movie set of Cars. And I know that can't happen because I know it's an animated movie. But that is what you are just walking down the streets, and everywhere you look from side to side, you are in Cars Land.
Yeah, and the scale of it, it looks like if you go watch Cars, the original Cars, and just look at that street, Route 66 going through Radiator Springs, and just see where all the buildings are there. They are all there. And it's amazing. And they also have the three attractions they have there are three of our favorite attractions. Of course, the Radiator Springs Racers is test track, only much, much better, in my opinion, personally. And then they have Luigi's Rollickin' Roadsters, which is a trackless attraction, but you get on there and these cars are it's basically dancing cars. They're all his cousins from Carsily out there, and they play this great music and they dance, and it's a lot of fun. And then there's Mater's Junkyard Jamboree, which if you know Swirlin' Saucers out at Hollywood Studios out at Walt Disney World Resort. This is in my opinion, and I'll give it to Michelle because I haven't read Swirlin' Saucers, but from what she said, Mater's Junkyard Jamboree is a better version of that.
Mater's is a better version. In terms of concept, like you said, having that movement is similar, except Mater, you do move around a little bit more. It's got a little bit of a whip to it. Plus, it's just so much more fun hearing Mater singing.
Yes. Dead gum, dead gum, dead gum, dead gum, dead gum, dead gum.
They have various songs. And as we mentioned, over the holidays, they switch up the songs that they have Halloween-themed songs and Christmas-themed songs. So you can go multiple times and get a different experience. And that's Scott's favorite ride for sure.
Well, one of them for sure. But
that's definitely.
Possibly over in California Adventure. I would think, that probably is his favorite for sure. Lots of other cool stuff that's there. They transform Paradise Pier into Pixar Pier. They have the Incredicoaster there, which is a lot of fun. The Pixar Pal Around, which is the giant Mickey wheel that you've probably seen pictures of. They have two versions of cars for that one that swings and rides around that I won't go into. And then the ones that are just kind of more stable, and then you just get a great view of the park, which is really cool. They just opened Jesse's Critter Carousel over there, and we haven't gotten over there since they opened it, but we're excited to check that out because that looks beautiful. Soon is coming Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind, which we're looking forward to as well. You probably have heard, of course, they had the first Marvel attraction in the U.S. open over there when they changed the Tower of Terror into Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. In my opinion, and I love Tower of Terror.
Right.
Mission Breakout is an advanced version of that. It's a lot more energetic. The music that pumps through it. Plus, I'll admit I'm a Guardians of the Galaxy fan, so that kind
Right.
of helps too. But really exciting and really different, something to try out that's something kind of different yet the same. Yeah.
Exactly. And then outside there, they have the dance off.
Yes.
So a lot of things that you can do outside and around there. And all in all, I think they really did an amazing job of kind of definitely still sticking with the theme of California. I mean, Pixar is located in California, and all these other areas, that it did really improve it quite a bit to make it more entertaining. And just talking about it, I was like, why aren't we there
tonight?
today?
Yeah, I know. Why aren't we there?
What
Exactly.
are we doing
What
wrong
are
here?
we doing? We're not that
We have
far
our
away.
annual passes now. We could have been there today.
Oh, I know. I'm telling you, we should be there. Other things that are there, Goofy Sky School. It's kind of a little roller one fun thing. But one of the best things at Disney California Adventure Park is World of Color.
Right.
Pound for pound, maybe the best Disney nighttime spectacular there is.
Yeah, exactly.
Projections on sheets of water, fire, all sorts of stuff. It's just really, really well done. Maybe the Magic Kingdom fireworks, whatever it was, whether it's right now Happily Ever After
Right.
or if it was Wishes, could compare to that. Anything else that I've seen doesn't really compare to World of Color. It's just
Right.
brilliant. It's just brilliant. And I'm so happy it was closed for a while. We're so happy it came back just a couple months ago.
Right. And that's another one where they do a holiday version
Mm-hmm.
as well. It doesn't have fireworks. And one might think, okay, displays on water, big whoop. But no, it really is. And what's really great is there's a lot of ways to get the best viewing areas. The simplest way is getting a fast pass when you go into the park for that. And that one is not connected with other fast passes. So that one you can have and still not worry about getting other ones
It's free. It
throughout
doesn't
the day.
cost you anything to do that.
Right. And that's different than like if you get a fast pass, for example, at Disney World for Epcot's Illumination, that counts in your fast pass.
Or Fantasmic
Right.
Studios.
So this one is separate. So that's really a nice feature. They also have dinner packages at several of the different restaurants and eateries there. And they also have a dessert package. And California Adventure is the park that does serve alcohol. And so when you do the dessert package, you also get some alcohol.
If you so desire
If you
to.
so desire, that's
imbibe
right.
an adult beverage from time to time. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. So.
So the other nice thing that they've done in California Adventure Park is that they've emphasized California wine country, since we're talking alcohol anyway. So, obviously that's a huge industry in the state of California, and they've really done a great nod to it. They have various places that have different where you can buy different glasses of wine to try different types of California wines. Our favorite is when we go upstairs to the tasting room.
Alfresco Tasting Terrace.
Right. Thank you. Nomenclature.
Yeah. Just so they can find it.
Right.
Where's that tasting room thing? I heard about it from Michelle.
All right. Yeah. Anyways, it's a great place. It's a great spot to just kind of go out and chill. You can still look down over at the park, what's going on at the park. You oftentimes can hear Mater singing because it's really close to Cars Land. But you get to try a lot of different wines. They have flights of wine that are associated with people or organizations somewhat involved in Disney.
Disney Family Wines is what they call them.
Right. So, for example, Fess Parker was, in Disney movies and shows, and they have a winery here in California, so they have some of their wines featured there, as well as Lassiter and
Skywalker Ranch. Kurt Russell.
I was
has
going to
his
say Gogi.
Gogi.
Right.
Gogi.
So it's
Diane
great.
Disney's
That's
vineyard.
right.
Silverado
Yeah,
is there as well.
And so that's a great place. They have, small tasting menu there and that you can have with the wine. And as I said, it's a nice way to just kind of stop, people watch and park watch and really get to feel, a closeness to the Disney organization through great wine.
They also, along with California wines, they also have opened up a lot of the California craft brews, because California's become fairly famous for their craft brews as of in the recent years. And they've opened that up a lot in and around that area too. So if you're more of a beer fan, there are plenty of beer selections out there as well if you're looking for that.
Right. And then they also have the Mexican flair to a lot of their eateries. I mean, it's not the only thing they have, but they do it really well here. And they have it spread out, so there's a lot of different areas. California Adventure, you do feel like you have, for the most part, a lot more elbow room when you're going around. So it doesn't compare to the other ones in the sense that we can't say, hey, this is like, just like Disneyland is very similar in some things with Magic Kingdom.
Right.
California Adventure is very different, and it's a park you wouldn't want to miss. It's a park that has something for all ages.
It's become our favorite park out there.
Absolutely.
We love Disneyland Park, and for its classic, its history, its nostalgia. And if you know Magic Kingdom, it's laid out very similar to Magic Kingdom. It's got the hub, Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Frontierland, Adventureland, Main Street USA. It's all laid out the same, but it will be slightly different. Yes, California Adventure Park is not like any other park we've been to. There are some subtleties to some of it. There's a little bit of the studios in part of it and such.
You have Midway Mania there.
Yeah, yep. But it's still different than quite anything else you'll find.
Absolutely, and it's super, super fun. And again, why aren't we there?
Why aren't we there? Why aren't we there? Also, if you're planning your trip coming up in the next few years, Marvel Land, they haven't really given it a title yet. I expect we're going to get something at D23 Expo this year. That is being constructed now, and I believe they plan to have that open up within, I don't know if it's 2020 or 2021.
Right. But they have some exciting things.
They do have some more exciting Marvel stuff coming, sure. I mean, we have, of course, we just talked about Mission Breakout. They have always stuff with Captain Marvel there now, with lots of meet and greets with Captain America, Spider-Man, the dance-off, all sorts of Marvel stuff going on all the time.
Right. And if you want to talk about tearjerkers from our last episode, just stand and watch the Avengers when they're getting their picture taken with kids. I mean, it is so adorable.
They're so interactive.
They
are.
Good. They are. When you see like Captain America or Spider-Man, talking with kids and then getting them to pose, and they really do spend a few minutes with them. It's not just, hey, walk up, let's do a pose, take a picture and move along. They really talk to the kids, and it's adorable. It's just so fun to watch.
And we just saw when we were just last up there, Captain Marvel. She was doing the same thing. Black Panther's been there in the past. He was doing something very similar. They're all really, really wonderful with the kids and the adults too. Because when I meet one of them, I'm a little kid myself.
Right, exactly.
And they're really interactive with the adults as well. It's really fun.
Really, really fun. So a lot of we're kind of hopefully gave you a taste of how to prepare for one of these episodes, one of these visits to Disneyland. It's great. Just make sure you're prepared to see a difference and experience that and enjoy it.
Yes, it's different. It's different. It's different. It's different. Be prepared for it. But if you come with your expectations set the right way and a good plan, you will love Disneyland like we love Disneyland.
Right.
It's different, but it really is it's the happiest place on earth.
Exactly.
And it is the originator of it all.
And we want you to enjoy it from the very first visit. Unlike me and my mom and some of my other friends who gosh.
I've heard many people that have been disappointed with Disneyland.
Right. I've talked to cast members at Walt Disney World who came and was very disappointed at it as well. So, but it really isn't a disappointing place. It's just something to adjust to.
It's different.
Right.
It's just different, but there are a lot of great things.
You'll love it.
And if you have any questions, if you want some help planning out your trip, if there's anything we can help you with,
sure.
Of course, contact us. I told you at the beginning. I'm just going to say it again. Hyperion Adventures Podcast at gmail.com is our email address. And of course, you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Ask us questions. We're happy to help. We live in Southern California.
Right.
We know Disneyland pretty darn well. We'd be happy to help you out.
Absolutely. And this is the first of a two-part episode because next week we're going to flip-flop it and try to help people who've only really known Disneyland Resort how to navigate and appreciate Walt Disney World, because that can be an intimidating process as well. And it could also, I've talked to some friends who have been disappointed because it is so spread out that for them to get to everything that they are used to getting through in a day might take longer. So that we are going to pick up next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And like I said, it's both parks or both resorts, completely different animals.
Right.
Definitely have to attack them in different ways. And that'll be a fun episode as well. So thank you, Michelle. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
Good job. So now let's get to something completely different.
You've run from foster homes in 6 counties.
I can take care of myself.
When you're 18, give these people a chance, because that's what they're giving you.
Daily Bats. I choose you as champion. Say my name so my powers may flow through you.
But I don't know your name, sir.
Shazam.
Are you for real?
Say
Okay! Shazam?
what's happening?
You're the only person I know that knows anything about this Cape Crusader stuff.
Can I...
Oh, yeah. That's crazy, right?
What are your superpowers?
Superpowers, dude? I don't even know how to pee in this thing.
Your phone's charged. Your phone's charged.
The hell?
You're like a bad guy, right?
Shazam!
Gentlemen!
You have bullet immunity!
I'm bulletproof.
You're dead.
Sorry about your window,
Have a good
but
night.
you're welcome for not getting robbed. Oh, hey, what's up? I'm a superhero.
So yes, we screened Shazam this week. Now we know it's not Disney. It's from the DC universe. It's from Warner Brothers. A little bit different, but seemed like the kind of film that some of our listeners might enjoy as well. And guess what? We really enjoyed this film.
Absolutely.
So we're not going to give any spoilers away here, but we're just going to talk about the film a little bit. This movie is fun, and that's so rare coming from a DC film.
Exactly. But it's great to have that. I mean, I think good competition among these superhero type genres is good because it really makes these entities up their game with a great story, which this one was a great story.
Yeah, really great story. Really great. It was bright. It was light. It was fun. It had heart. Just totally different than what we've seen from DC recently, which has been a little disappointing. I always I grew up loving Superman and Batman and that whole crew, the Justice League and all that. I really enjoyed all that, and to see it be kind of disappointing and lackluster and just kind of not very good. The tone was all wrong, but they got it right with this one. It was so good.
They were spot on, and it was really impressive to see. I'm not going to give anything away. It was in the trailer. It's a foster family, and the diversity in that family and how that diversity comes to really help make that movie so wonderful is top notch.
Excellent. It was so good. Zachary Levi, who you may know as Eugene Fitzherbert, Flynn Rider, of course, from
it's
Tangled.
tied with Disney.
Yes. He was so good in this movie, playing an adult superhero who was really a 14-year-old teenager.
Yes.
And just played the part excellently. It really brought back memories of Tom Hanks in Big. To me.
Absolutely. He, like you said, he was so convincing. You're seeing him as an adult and his playing as a kid, and it's like, oh my gosh, I just buy it completely.
The story was good. The action, the adventure. If you're bringing young kids, it might be there's some foul language. It's of course a superhero movie. There is some violence in it. It's pretty relatively tame violence, but there is violence in it. But preteen teenagers, I think that they would enjoy this film quite a bit. Just really, really good. Really, really full of heart. It's funny. They're great homages to Big within it,
Yes.
because they know that they're going to be compared to Big. And so they knew
Exactly.
that, and they took part of that. They poked fun at the DC films
Right, I
that
was
were their
gonna say that as
predecessors that
well, yes.
some people have criticized in the past. They poked a lot of fun at that, and that was
Yes.
great. There's a great cameo in it. Really good stuff. Really loved it. Really
Right.
loved it.
And kind of one of the topics that we brought up when we were reviewing Captain Marvel is, how strong of a story that was, even, I shouldn't say even though, it's one of the first female roles of, being the lead and being really strong story that you could have flip-flop and put a male role as that lead. And this, I felt the same way.
But it could have been a female.
It could have been a female. And I'm not trying to get on that bandwagon or anything. I just want to, just put a praise to the fact that they're writing good, strong stories. And then they're finding a good person to be in that role. But it could have been anybody.
It was really a great origin story, and I'm excited for what it could come from this
Right.
franchise in the future, because it really was great, and I expect some big things. I gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars, personally.
Oh, at least, yeah. I would say I loved it from start to
Oh, yeah,
finish.
it was
I
great.
would give it 4. You can always find a little something to critique
A
about
little
the
bit
movie.
of CGI was a little shaky, and CG with DC has always been a little shaky, and I
Right.
saw a little of that in here, but I could easily have given it 3 3/4. I don't know if I can give
Right.
it 4, but I definitely will put it right up there. It's really good. Really good.
Definitely. And I think most kids, even at the age of, 8 and above, wouldn't probably get bothered too much by some of the things, little kids might get a little scared, but it's not throughout the whole movie. It's not a big portion
Right.
of it.
There are some scary moments. There is violence. These are teenagers. There is some language that some teenagers would throw around and some gestures and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's still good fun and humorous and light and enjoyable.
And very humorous,
Yeah.
It really did. You had a superhero dealing with a villain, and you had laughter involved in it. And so it was great.
Yeah, it was irreverent. It was really
Yeah.
fun.
I would give it 4, but
Yeah. Well, Michelle gives it 4. I'll still give it 3.5. So we balance this out at 3 3/4.
that's right. That's right.
We'd love to hear what you thought of Shazam if you got to see it over the weekend. It was really good. We enjoyed it. We'd love to hear what your
Yeah,
thoughts
go see
on
it.
Go see it. We suggest if you haven't gone and seen it, go see it. It's really fun. Let's get to our Disney stories of the week. There's so much Disney news every single week, and this is just like the others. Lots of Disney stories. Can't even get to them all, but we'll get to a few here. And I'm going to start. We've been talking mostly this episode about Disneyland Park. Let's go back over to Walt Disney World Resort, and we'll talk about a little news coming out of there. And that was one of the new stories that came out this week, is that Disney After Hours will be soon featuring some of your favorite baddies at Magic Kingdom. Ooh. This coming from the Disney Parks blog. Disney After Hours has been a huge success, with guests looking for the opportunity to experience the magic at Magic Kingdom Park after the sun goes down. This summer, Disney Villains will add a wicked twist to Disney After Hours event on nights starting June 6th and going through August.
So that sounds super exciting.
Yeah, that sounds
nice
fun.
twist to it.
We're going to be out there in June, but unfortunately, it just kind of falls on the wrong nights for us. So, otherwise, we might have looked into doing it, but I don't think we're going to be able to do it this time. But it sounds like a blast.
But if you do it, let us know.
Yeah, we'd like to know. We'd like to know. More from the Disney Parks blog. This summer, Disney Villains After Hours will take on a wickedly fun villains theme with exclusive entertainment, food and beverages, merchandise, and more. And here's a taste of what the new elements are to expect. A brand new Disney villain stage show with Hades and Meg from Hercules.
Wow.
Meg isn't a villain. Is Meg a villain?
Slightly.
Sort of. She's
some of it.
Sort of villainy, but not really. She comes out nice in the end. Herc sways her.
I know, but she starts that way.
Yeah. Anyway, Hercules from Hercules will be set in the castle stage ablaze with an all-new stage show, Villains Unite the Night, which will also feature appearances by Jafar, the Queen, Dr. Facilier, and Maleficent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great lineup there.
Great lineup. You can't. Disney villains, always so good.
Yes.
You can also spot Maleficent the Dragon. That is, of course, the steampunk-style dragon that you see in the parade that breathes fire. Hopefully it won't catch fire like it did last year. But everybody loves the dragon. Is so happy when that made an appearance back.
Exactly.
There'll be various villainous enhancements. You can discover surprising villain-inspired additions to Pirates of the Caribbean and Space Mountain, which is interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, a little overlay there. Sounds kind of cool.
Nice.
Wickedly good food and beverage. A variety of special food and beverage offerings will also be available for purchase, including tasty desserts, drinks, and dishes inspired by the Queen, Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, Hades, Dr. Facilier, and even Emperor Zurg. We
Love
meet
it.
again, Zurg.
I am your father.
Interesting stuff. If you're not familiar with Disney After Hours, it's a special event that's open to a limited number of guests and offers low wait times at more than 20 attractions and experiences after the parks close. And that includes things like the Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, Space Mountain, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You can enter as early as 7 p.m. And also there's free ice cream novelties, popcorn, and some select bottled drinks. Popcorn and bottled drinks that are included with it. So yes, there's food items to purchase, but you also have some free food items while you're there.
That sounds
They're included with the price, not free.
right.
You have to pay a price to get in there. But
Sure.
it's included, yeah.
That's great. We've done various themed ones here on the West Coast, and they do a great job of, taking the same park and making it a little bit more exciting.
Yeah, we had our good friend who comes on the show often, Rob LeBerry, who's also host of the Jedi Temple Archives podcast, which you should check out, by the way. He did Disney After Hours on his last trip out there and said he really enjoyed it. Was just walking onto attractions, which he
Nice.
really liked. So it was really great. So he recommends it. So just the price for this, it's $139 plus tax in advance, $144 the night of the event. However, if you are a vacation club member or an annual pass holder, there's a $30 discount on that. So it'll be $109 for if you pre-purchase that. And
Cool.
it goes on sale on April 29th. All the dates are on Thursdays. You can look on the Walt Disney World website for the dates, but they all begin. They're all on Thursday nights.
So check it out.
Exciting stuff.
It is.
Yes, good stuff. Staying at the Walt Disney World Resort, a new Lion King-based dining experience is coming to the Animal Kingdom Park.
Wow, do
yes.
tell.
This from the Disney Parks blog again. Get ready to experience a new dining adventure honoring some of the most majestic and endangered African animals and celebrating the beloved story of the Lion King. Circle of Flavors, Harambe at Night offers a unique way to dine at Disney's Animal Kingdom with a family-friendly progressive dining experience drawing inspiration from the many facets of African cultures and animals.
Wow.
Sounds kind of cool,
That
right?
does sound
yes.
cool.
Your journey begins with a welcome reception at the Wildlife Express train station and takes you on a fun-filled adventure to the train station at Rafiki's Planet Watch. Then continues on to Harambe Market. Throughout the night, you'll take in sights, sounds, and scrumptious flavors in celebration of the Lion King and the big five game animals, the African elephant, the rhinoceros, the Cape buffalo, the leopard, and our host animal, the lion.
Nice.
Yes. Along the way, you'll have the opportunity to learn more about the importance of the Big Five and the challenges they face around the world, as well as how Disney is working to protect them. So dining and learning, it's edutainment.
Yeah, but you got to add the food part.
Yes, it's
Edu
refreshmentainment.
There you go.
Culinary-tainment.
Edu-eat
Edutainment. Yeah. Take whatever you want from any of those.
None of them were great.
No, they're terrible. They're terrible. But what would you expect from me? Honestly, seriously. So here's how it goes. Starting at the train station, you'll receive light hors d'oeuvres, snacks, and beverages, alcoholic and non-alcoholic, while enjoying acoustic music before hopping on the train to ride over to Rafiki's Planet Watch. Upon arrival, you'll be greeted with more light bites and sips. And hanging out in the train station, familiar friends will be Timon and Rafiki will be available for character greetings and fun interactive activities for all ages. Once you've finished up at Rafiki's Planet Watch, hop back on the train and get ready to venture over to Harambe Market for the main event. Throughout the marketplace, you'll enjoy an array of sweet and savory dishes paired with unique beverages.
Wow.
Sounds really great.
It does.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's not going to be going on when we're there in June. So
You're kidding.
No, because I would jump all over this. It sounds
Yes.
fantastic. Interesting. You're learning. You're eating great food. It just sounds like a blast.
It does sound Fun. Oh, my gosh. Well, we'll have to figure out a time to
Right.
get out there and check that out.
Start scheduling the next trip.
I
Let's
know.
go. Circle of Flavors Harambe at Night begins on July 24th, 2019 on select nights for a limited time at Disney Animal Kingdom. The price is $125 plus tax for adults, $99 plus tax for children ages 3 to 9, and you will need a separate park admission. So it's on top of what you're already paying for. But it does sound like a really cool experience. Like some of the tours or other things, only, with some great food and drink and definitely some learning there. It's really
absolutely.
Great. Of course, you can reserve this right now. It's available already at Walt Disney's reservation line, which is 407-939-3463, WDW is what it is. Or you can go to the Walt Disney World Resort dining page on their website, of course.
Nice. Well, that sounds really exciting. I'm glad they're adding some more things for the evenings at Animal Kingdom. So, and they do a great job with those as well. And it kind of sounds like the, what is the monorail one?
The Highway in the Sky Dine
Yes,
Around.
yes. But this one's, like you're saying, more educational.
Right, and good for kids.
Right.
And really good stuff. I'm really
That's exciting.
bummed they're not starting that a little earlier because I would really like to experience that. But maybe hopefully it's successful and it carries over when our next journey out to Walt Disney World, we'll be able to get and try that. So let's stay with food and actually drink at the park. And some interesting news this week. Star Wars title beer and wines have been trademarked by Disney for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
This from theblast.com. According to multiple trademark applications just filed by Lucasfilm, a subsidiary of Disney, they are locking down 9 different alcoholic beverages that will most likely be served at the themed Oga's Cantina in Black Spire Outpost, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. The list of drinks include White Wampa Ale, Gamorrean Ale, Gold Squadron Lager,
Wow.
Trandoshan Ale, Tonneray Wine, Andoan White Wine, Spice Runner Hard Cider, Carillion Red Wine, and Imperial Guard Wine.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is cool.
Really like that.
Yeah. All the names have been mentioned at some point within the Star Wars universe. So they've actually, all these names have been referenced somewhere in the books, in the films, somewhere around there. These actually exist in canon.
Wow.
Including Tonneray wine, which was a teal-colored bubbly wine that was previously produced on the planet of Alderaan. So it may be kind of scarce, actually.
Yeah.
It might be a little pricey because there may not be a lot of that left in the universe.
Make more of that.
Yeah. So, interesting stuff. News for Galaxy's Edge. It just keeps getting better and better every week. And by the way, Star Wars Celebrations this week, we're probably going to get a bunch of stuff coming up this next weekend. So hold on to your seats for that as we get closer and closer to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening.
It'll be fun to watch that and follow it through on social media too. And our good friends at Tatooine and Sons.
Yeah.
They are awesome.
Another great Star Wars podcast.
Exactly. And we can't wait to hear their feedback on what's going on out there.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So.
Yeah.
Let's move on from Star Wars and go to Marvel. And there was a couple big milestones that were hit this week by Marvel, including Captain Marvel hit a big box office milestone this week. This from Forbes.com. It's official. Captain Marvel has topped the magic $1 billion mark globally at the box office. Yes.
That is perfect.
Yes, it's awesome. It's great news. Even though the boycott was out there, whatever, apparently the boycott didn't quite work.
Boycott.
What? It became the 7th biggest MCU release and the 7th one to enter the $1 billion club, obviously. Next milestone before the Brie Larson sci-fi superhero blockbuster ends, its theatrical run will be at $1.1 billion, which will probably hit just before Marvel Studios' Avengers Endgame hits the theaters here in 19 days now, 18 days, depends on when you're going to see it.
Right.
Coming up.
It's exciting.
I know, it's exciting.
Ooh, so many exciting things happening.
Speaking
April and May.
Yes. So much good stuff going on. It's crazy. Speaking of Avengers Endgame, some fun stuff came out this week, starting when they dropped this new featurette.
Infinity War was nuts. but this one is going to be your finest hour.
We're in the end game now.
Thanos wiped out 50% of all living creatures. These are the highest stakes that the Avengers have ever faced.
This is the fight of our lives.
This is gonna work, Steve.
I know it is. Because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't.
Every time you think Marvel's pulled every single trick out of the bag, they actually saved the best stuff for this one.
This is the end of the fireworks show, the grand finale.
The storytelling is insane. You just don't know what you expect.
I guarantee you there is no way anybody could guess what's going to happen.
We're the Avengers. We gotta finish this.
Tickets on sale now.
And that was the key right there, right at the end. They dropped that featurette. Tickets were on sale now. And boy, did they go on sale. Holy cow. This is just a note from Entertainment Weekly. Pre-sale tickets opened up for Avengers Endgame this week. And just like that, I see what you're doing there, Entertainment Weekly. Fandango's box office record was broken. Avengers Endgame managed to rack up more first-day pre-sales than any other film in the company's history, beating out the previous chart topper, which was Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Wow.
And it only took them 6 hours to do it.
Crazy.
6 hours.
I know it wasn't easy. I know a lot of people were having...
Let's get into that. So not only did they break records, they broke the internet, or at least they broke Fandango, because Fandango had all sorts of problems. They had an online outage. People had to wait for sometimes an hour for tickets. There were lots of crashes. AMC Theaters' ticket sales page also failed at many points. So did Regal Cinemas failed at many points. That's how many people were flooding these websites to get these tickets. That's how exciting people are to see this film.
Right. I heard so many, I shouldn't say so many. I heard a couple of sad stories. People had something and then it crashed, and so they had to start over. I know. But I mean, everybody I talked to did manage to get through. Right. But it was kind of interesting to see just how intense that whole effort was to get tickets.
Right. I'm lucky we got up early that morning and saw this thing drop, and I was able to get in very quickly and get ours secured because we're ready to go. There's, like we said, there are going to be tons of people going. The speculation right now is that this film globally in its first weekend could rake in more than $800 million. Some people speculate that it could come very close to the $1 billion mark on its first weekend globally. That's a bit of a stretch. I don't think it's going to hit that, but it could. Even just the fact that it's going to come close to that is amazing. This film is going to be nuts. And we couldn't be more excited.
I know.
Oh, so it's coming up here 18 days away, 19 days away, depending on 18 days if you're going on the Thursday night, 19 days if you're going when it's actually listed as happening April 26th, of course, the weekend or whatever. But it's exciting, and we're looking forward to it. So that's the Disney stories of the week. Ooh, exciting stuff coming up here over the next several weeks. These next couple months are going to be bananas.
Right.
BANANAS, bananas. It's going to be crazy good.
Wow, that's
crazy,
so impressive, honey.
Yes, I know, right? Right.
So proud of you.
So good. Thank you. I can spell banana because I know a silly little song. Let's get to our vacation tips of the week. Of course, we always wrap up our show with some sort of tip to help you out, whether you're going on vacation, whether you're going to the parks, whether you're doing Run Disney. By the way, congratulations to everybody who did the Rival Run Star Wars half and all this Rival Run races this last weekend. DVC Duo, we saw your pictures out there. We love you guys. Good job with you guys. That is awesome. Everybody out there, they did this race, especially the guys that had to suffer through the 5K when there was all that weather in the morning and lightning, and they had to run to buses and everything. And then you had to run through a really soggy course. It's 5K, is not the longest. It's the shortest of the races out there outside the kids' races, but that seemed like it might have been the most troublesome and the toughest to get through. So good on all of you.
Yeah,
congratulations. We're jealous that we weren't there this year. We went there last year. We're jealous we weren't there this year. Hopefully we're going to get to a race soon. Anyway, congratulations. So let's get quickly. Of course, we always go for tips first to Michelle because her tips are always the best. Plus, she's beautiful. She's wonderful. She's the sweetest, kindest person you'll ever meet. And she just glows And she spreads pixie dust wherever. She's Tinkerbell. She spreads pixie dust wherever she goes.
I'm very lucky. Thank you,
So
honey.
quickly, let's get to Michelle's tip of the week.
Well, thank you. So sticking with the Disneyland theme, wanted to talk about, Tom mentioned the early hours if you're staying at a Disneyland resort. But if you're not, you can still arrive early to the park that's not having the early start, like for rope drop. And that really increases your chances of getting on your favorite ride, like Radiator Springs Racer, a couple times at least before the park really starts hopping. So what we would recommend is head over there as soon as the park opens, as soon as rope drop takes place, head right over to Radiator Springs Racer. And that's because Fast Passes, as we mentioned, you don't even get to start to reserve until the park opens. So at the beginning, there aren't any Fast Passes that they're using at that time. So there is no other line ahead of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the other tip to do is, especially if you're not alone, if you're with some other people, have one person go get Fast Passes for a little later in the day for everybody in the party while everybody else goes in the line, and then they can join up with you in line. And that really can help you get through some of those favorite, maybe harder to get attractions early in the morning. And, some of those things like Radiator Springs Racer, those Fast Passes do go away, before midday.
Midway through the day, they'll be gone.
Yeah, they're gone. They're not available anymore. So that's really the one time that you can get in there and get an extra opportunity to go on the ride at least one time, if not a couple times, and then have a Fast Pass for later on.
Yeah. How we like to attack it a lot of times when we do rope drop at California Adventure Park is that we will go and one of us, usually Michelle, will run over to, we love doing Midway Mania,
right?
Toy Story Mania. So Michelle will run over there. I'll run over to Radiator Springs Racers, get our Fast Passes and meet her there. And then usually, because most people are heading to this Racers or a couple of other things, Soarin', Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. That's another one you might want to hit at rope drop if possible, but they're heading there too. We will go. We love Toy Story Mania, and we'll go there and we'll hit 3 or 4 times. We'll go on it 3 or 4 times in a row because you can just walk right on, walk right back off, like 3 or 4 times in a row. And then the line starts to actually build. And then you go, and usually it's your Fast Pass time for the Racers, or you can go do something else. But that's kind of the way we attack it often. Not always, but a lot of the times we like to do it that way.
We do that. And then what we love too is going to Flo's V8 and having a really nice breakfast there. And there you can go sit and watch the racers as well. It's just a fun atmosphere.
Flo's is one of our favorite places for food.
Yeah.
And we matter of fact, a lot of times when we're leaving, so we have annual passes and we live in Southern California. Sometimes we don't necessarily need to go from rope drop till fireworks.
Right.
We'll sometimes leave in the afternoon when the park gets busier and we're not getting any more attractions and stuff. So we'll actually pack up dinner from Flo's and bring it home with us because it's really, really good food. We really enjoy Flo's a lot.
Right. You can get it to go. You can mobile order it, first of all. And so you can get over there and just pick it up and then head out. And know that you're taking a little bit of Disneyland back with you home.
Just a little more joy as you go.
That's right.
But again, most of you are traveling there won't be doing something like that. Although if you have a hotel and you want to just take some food back to the hotel room, just know you can get Disneyland food to go. And sometimes it makes it easier than trying to order something in or finding something from around the area or whatever, to just take a little stuff from the park with you into the room in the evenings, depending on, like if you have little ones that aren't going to stay up too late, or if you're taking a break in the middle of the day, whatever the case may be. So.
And you can check your hotels might have microwaves or little refrigerators and things like that too. So
right, and if you're at some of these places like the Disneyland Resort hotels, all have their own quick service food places and stuff. But some of the other smaller ones, if you're staying at some of the good neighbor hotels, they don't necessarily have food for you during the day, room service, whatever. So if they don't have that, it's another option for you. Anyway, that's great. Michelle's tip. Always the best tips.
Oh, you're so sweet.
My tip is going to go back to not Disneyland. I'm going back to where we just were a second ago, to Marvel. And now, as we mentioned, we're only 18 or 19 days as of today, as of recording this episode, away from the release of Avengers Endgame, which is basically going to wrap up the Avengers saga. It's going to wrap up the first 3 phases of Marvel. It's going to wrap up just over 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there's a lot
hard to believe.
Yeah, there's a lot within it, but this is a big, big moment. And I want to tell you, we've started doing this I would suggest you might want to do this. I know many others are out there doing this, and that's rewatching some of the films leading up to this. Now, the best way to do it is to watch them all. And even some of the lesser ones that aren't as good, watch them all. 21 films. It's about 56 hours worth of watching. If you want to get started tonight, you can do it before, whenever, depending on when you're actually screening Avengers Endgame. You may have to double up a couple movies on a day or so, but you can do it if you really want to. Or you can do the AMC thing. They're doing a marathon of all of them where they're doing 59 straight hours of Marvel films. But I don't necessarily want to be in a theater for 59 straight hours because I can imagine after about 26, that theater's got to be, people eating theater food and, maybe taking showers or some sort of little bath in the bathroom or whatever. It's going to be pretty ripe in that theater. I'm not sure if I could do that. I couldn't sit in one of those theater chairs for 59 hours, but if you can do it, more power to you.
Right.
You're awesome.
Pretty exciting.
It's really interesting. But you can still do it at home. If you have the movies, they're available in lots of different places. You can rent them. They'll be popping up a lot of places on free TV on on FX, and I think Sci-Fi is showing them. Some of the other channels are showing them regularly now. You'll see some of them there. They're on demand. You can purchase them for rent or whatever. They're going to be all over the place. Here's what I would suggest as far as if you're not going to go watch them all. What you might want to go about seeing them. If you want to see most of the films, the better ones, the ones that are important to leading into Endgame, here's kind of the order that I think, or what you should watch anyway. This is 14, maybe 15 films that I would say you can watch. Probably 9 or must watch if you have this much time to do it.
Right.
So this is the order I would go, and I would go with the original Iron Man. It started it all. None of this would exist without Iron Man succeeding, in my opinion. So that you should watch. Captain America, the First Avenger.
Right.
Leads right into The Avengers, which is the next one you should watch. Then Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron. You can also watch Ant-Man if you want. You can skip that one, but I would suggest it just so you can kind of know the character and where that starts off with. Captain America Civil War. Definitely watch that one. You can. It's up to you on whether you want to watch these next two. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man Homecoming. Important for their character development. Important so you know those characters. But if you don't have the time, you could skip those. Thor Ragnarok, I think, is one you should watch because it's different. There's some lead right-ins to Avengers Endgame and, of course, Avengers Infinity War.
Right.
You might want to watch that one for sure. Black Panther. I would always suggest watching Black Panther, but it's up to you on whether you want to watch that going into that. Definitely have to watch Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
No question about that. And if you want to get it out to the theater, if you haven't seen it already, if you want to watch it again, Captain Marvel is still out there. You could watch that one if you want to. I don't think it's really super important, but you could. Somewhere in there, you can also throw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I kind of left it maybe off. You don't necessarily need to see that. I don't think there are some things that tie into this, but not directly. But if you want to throw them in there,
not as much. But it is a great movie.
Right.
And I was glad you didn't mention Iron Man 2.
No. There's several that I can leave off of there. But like I said, if you want to watch them, they all play a part within this universe and building to where we are now. So watching them all wouldn't be a horrible thing if you have that kind of time on your hands. Now, here's what I would say the bare minimum is if you want to get into this film and maybe watch, I'd say you can watch 8 films, maybe 5 don't misses to get you ready for Avengers Endgame.
Right.
So here's how I go. Iron Man, as I said, it started it all.
Right.
Watch Iron Man, the original Iron Man. Captain America, the First Avenger, I think is kind of important, but you could skip that one if you really wanted to. The Avengers, definitely. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, definitely. Guardians of the Galaxy, maybe, maybe not. You can do that one. Maybe, maybe not. Avengers Age of Ultron, maybe, maybe not. You can skip that one if you really want to. Captain America Civil War, definitely. And, of course, Avengers Infinity War, definitely. That's the bare bones. I think those are the films you need to see going in. So, and then you can watch them in whatever order you want. I just listed them by their release date. But they're chronologically kind of in a little different order. There's all sorts of websites that show you if you want to follow it that way. But I kind of like them by their release date. I think they're released with on dates with an intention involved. So, that's kind of the way to go.
Well,
so that's
a good idea.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just giving you my quick tips on how to get set for Avengers Endgame because we're very excited about that.
Yes. Those are great ideas of how to manage getting you ready and geared up. I mean, if you're not excited already, but really help kind of some of the little things too get forgotten or missed, and it's good to have the refresher on those.
Yeah, and like I said, everything that's been done in this Marvel Cinematic Universe ties into where we are now. There's little pieces. Maybe they aren't big pieces in some of these films, but there are little pieces that have led us to where we are now. It's all connected.
The only thing I think would be also kind of a good one to watch is Ant-Man 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to
actually, you're right. I missed that. Ant-Man and the Wasp should be in there.
Right. Ant-Man and the Wasp, yeah.
As a definite maybe.
Yeah,
watch.
I think that might have some.
You're right.
Some components that are going to play into Endgame.
Yeah, it's a definite maybe watch. It's not one of the ones where I would say it's a definitely you have to watch that one, but it's a definite maybe for sure.
And we'll see after the movie.
We will see. It's exciting stuff.
Yes.
Yes. So that's it for this week. Next week, we talked about it earlier. We're going to be reversing today's topic. Today, it was Disneyland for the Walt Disney World Resort fan. Next week, it's going to be the Walt Disney World Resort for the Disneyland fan. Anybody who's used to Disneyland, we're going to tell you how to approach going to the Walt Disney World Resort.
Right, because again, we want you to have a marvelous time right from the beginning. These places are so cherished, and we love them. We know you love them, and this is just hopefully a way to help you enjoy them even better, especially if you haven't experienced one of the other parks.
Yes, no question about that. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and that'll be more on me because I'm the one who was the Disneyland fan who went to the Walt Disney World Resort for the first time, whereas Michelle was more the Walt Disney World Resort fan today who came to the Disneyland Resort for the first time.
So I won't take over again. I won't be Iago and take over.
It was very good. You did a great job with that. We're also screening Disney Nature's Penguin, so we'll have a review for that. I don't know if we have to worry about spoilers for Penguin, but we will be checking that out this week as well. And of course, there's lots of big news coming out this week. Disney Plus is being showcased for investors this week. We may have a lot of information about Disney Plus coming out. That's on Thursday, the 11th. And then, of course, Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago starts on Thursday, the 11th as well. There's going to be lots of Star Wars news that's going to come out this week regarding Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Episode 9. And we think we're getting a trailer and a title probably. Stuff as far as new shows that might be coming on Disney Plus, Clone Wars, Clone Wars saved, maybe some of the new television shows coming to Disney Plus, video games, all sorts of stuff's going to be coming out of Star Wars Celebration, and we will be talking a lot about that as well.
Yeah, it's exciting news. I feel like we just keep saying that, but it is. It really is a lot of exciting things. It's a great time to be a Disney fan.
Yes, it definitely is. Disney, Star Wars, Marvel. It's a great time to be a fan. And by the way, we talked about our friend Rob LeBerry earlier in his Jedi Temple Archives podcast. He's going to be doing some regular stuff about what's happening at Star Wars Celebration. So if you want to check out his podcast, subscribe to it. He'll have lots of information coming out during the days as they go on. So if you're like at work and you miss some of it, he'll be recapping a lot of that. So check him out for that for sure.
Right. And, you know, his podcast I really appreciate it because it gives the novice or moderate novice some really great info to help appreciate the movies, the storylines and the characters. So do check out his podcast as well.
Also, Tatooine and Sons is one of our other favorites. We mentioned them earlier, too. It's a father and his two, I think one's a teen and one's he's either a teen now or still a preteen, but he's pretty close. But it sees it from three different kind of perspectives at Star Wars universe, and that's a really good one, too. Highly recommend. And they're going to be at Star Wars Celebration, so check them out as well. They'll have a lot of stuff.
Some great guests coming onto their show.
They'll have some great stuff coming out.
Kaz.
Yeah, Kaz. So that'll be a lot of fun. So check both those podcasts out for sure. Subscribe to them both. They are good friends of ours, and we love them both.
Yes.
So that's it for us. Follow us in the future. We'll have some stuff putting out there about Star Wars Celebration, Disney Plus, all that stuff as well this week. But we also have a lot of fun on social media. So check us out just for fun on social media at Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook and Instagram at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. And if you ever want to contact us, ask us questions, give us some input, just say hi, whatever, you can email us at HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and again, we love hearing from you, and we love the interaction on Twitter. It's always fun because we have different kind of styles of what we're tweeting out there.
Yeah, you can sometimes see the difference between the two of us, whoever's on Twitter at the time.
So, hopefully people are enjoying that as well.
Yeah, lots of fun there. And you found us today. Of course, you can find us in the future on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. The best way to get us is to subscribe to us. We'll come right to your phone, right to your device whenever we have a new episode, and you'll know we have a new Hyperion Adventures podcast waiting for you. And if you have a time, just please give us a quick rating. You just got to click on the stars. And if you have a little more time, give us a review. It really helps others find this podcast. And even better than that, even easier than any of these things, just tell your friends about us. Tell them that you like this podcast, and they might be interested in it as well.
Exactly.
So that's it. Thanks again for joining us on the Hyperion Adventures podcast. We look forward to sharing some more time with you again next week. But until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.